What is going on, football fans? John and Holzer back for another Roundtable Sports Radio episode. You know what I'm talking about. And we're getting into our Week 10 picks. Holzer, what are we diving into today, my guy?
You already know we're doing our weekly Saturday locks of the week. Maybe our upset of the week. Maybe some players that are gonna do good and players that are not gonna do so good with our startums and situms. So
Oh,
John,
yeah.
we were both terribly wrong with our picks on
Yeah,
Thursday.
but look at this kid over here saying Henry's going to go for 200 yards and what, two touchdowns or something? I mean,
Okay,
he had 100 yards rushing and it's still good, but you were way off,
he would
man.
have had that if they were not playing from behind, dude.
It's because
If Tannehill could
oh,
throw the football, they would have won that game 100%. And Henry would have had 150 to 200 yards.
you see Corey Davis, his brother, he got news that his brother died during the game or something like that, or
Really
yeah, to cancer. It sucks, man. But
terrible.
I love to see it. I love to see him fighting through that and playing. I mean, true grit, true heart, and shout out to Corey Davis, man.
Shout out to him. Wow, that sucks. Actually, it's actually terrible.
Yeah, it is.
All right, John. Give me your first game that you think is going to be an easy one for a team this week.
Uh, well, the Packers against the Jags, because I don't even think the Jaguars are gonna win another game this year, considering their schedule.
Hmm.
And I mean, they could have won against Houston last week. It was a close game. You saw Jake Luton. You saw his arm. Maybe he did a little better than Minshew has been doing, but the Packers are gonna blow them out of the water. Aaron Jones is gonna be back to full health. He's gonna be running all over that defense, and Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are gonna be clicking. So
Yeah, I also said Packers over Jags for my first time. I thought that Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are going to go for another touchdown or two this week because the Jags just don't have anyone to stop them.
I wouldn't be surprised if Devontae Adams like found the end zone like 3 times.
I
Honestly,
mean,
I
I
know
would be
it's a hot take.
surprised. 3 times would be like pretty amazing because I don't know how many touchdowns he scored in the last few weeks, but it's a lot.
You can do it. I mean, he's
I
making
mean,
the case for
he'll
best
do it.
receiver, man. Right now, you can argue that he is. I think he is, but
I think the slant catcher is the best receiver, but
yeah.
Michael Thomas.
Oh yeah. Shut up, Slant boy.
I think Slant Boy is the best, but
But we both got the Packers for our
yep.
locks.
I said
Okay.
32-13. Maybe 17 if Lutton gets another touchdown, but
I'm gonna say 28-10.
yeah, I thought it was gonna be pretty low scoring too. Maybe a touchdown or two for the Jags, but nothing
Packers are still
crazy.
gonna blow them out of the water,
Oh
no
yeah.
doubt. Though.
John, what do you
Yeah.
think for a second one? You got a second one for me?
Honestly, um, I'm gonna say I know people might think this is controversial just because of how they've been playing lately. I think it'll be a closer game, but I think the Ravens are a lock against the Patriots this week. Uh, I think Lamar will have a bounce back week. The critics are getting in his ear. People are saying that they play a high school offense. Their scheme is really recognizable. Teams are stopping that on defense,
I
and
mean, the scheme is recognizable.
I
Like,
know,
yeah.
but Lamar is gonna come back with a vengeance. I feel like him and Mark Andrews will connect this week. I even feel like Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins will get it going on the ground this week, even though the Patriots don't have that bad of a defense.
Well, they have a good rush defense. They don't
Yeah,
have
they have a
that
good
great of.
rush defense. Their secondary it could be a lot better, but
Hmm.
I mean the Patriots they've had a somewhat difficult schedule this year.
Hmm. All right, John. This is not. This is like a good like mid tier game, which is really important, like a swing game. I'm saying Raiders over Broncos. I think the Raiders really need to get this win, bring them into next week, and they could really start making their playoff push because right now they're sitting right there, right behind the Ravens. They don't want to play the Steelers, Chiefs, or even like Titans in the first round. They want to play one of those weaker teams.
Right.
So I think this is a big game for them.
Honestly, I can see the Broncos winning this game. I'm not gonna lie, cause I feel like I mean the Raiders secondary isn't that good. Their front seven is okay. They have an average defense, not
I mean, their
anything.
D line's pretty good.
Yeah, their D line's not bad, but it's not anything to bat an eye over. I think Drew Lock will have a good game, even though they took that L to Atlanta last week. They should have won that game, but I think they'll have a bounce back week. I think Philip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon will probably split the carries. Both have at least 50 yards rushing. I think Noah Fant will have a really good game. I think Bradley Chubb will eat on defense. Honestly, I think he'll get to Derek Carr a couple times.
Well, I think what this is gonna happen. I know that the Colts won last night, and that pushed the Titans to the last seed in the AFC.
Mm.
And if the Las Vegas wins, they got to keep winning. They got to keep on this win train, and they're eventually going to come against that game against the Colts, and they need to win that must-win game against the Colts to try to boost them up into the playoffs. Because honestly, I think the Titans could win out. I think that Baltimore could win out, even though they play Pittsburgh. I mean, just think about Tennessee's schedule: Baltimore, Indianapolis, 2 hard games. They could beat Baltimore. They're set up to beat Baltimore
Yeah.
because they run the football well and they could stop the run decent. Like not great, but
That's a tough game to predict though. Because I mean they could shut down Henry. Yeah, because the Titans are a good team, but they're inconsistent at times. And
their defense is very inconsistent. I've
yeah,
seen them play good and I've seen them play really, really bad.
their offense can be explosive sometimes. Like AJ Brown on the at wide receiver one on the outside, he's very explosive. Derrick Henry in the backfield is a force to be reckoned with, and Ryan Tannehill is probably the best game manager in football right now. So that offense is really a formidable force, and you have Corey Davis too and Jonnu Smith, who
I
are
feel like
pretty good players.
I feel like a game manager would be more of a definition of like a Derek Carr. I think Ryan Tannehill is more of an upper echelon of quarterback, like a top 12 to top 10 quarterback.
Mm.
Not more of like a game manager that does, because if he turns the ball over, it's not necessarily like, oh, they're gonna lose. But if like Derek Carr has 2, 3 turnovers, they're probably not gonna win the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Who do you think is the better quarterback, Derek Carr or Ryan Tannehill at the moment? Well,
At the
this season,
moment, Tannehill, but I think Carr is. If Carr had as many weapons as Tannehill had, I feel like it would be different.
yeah,
I mean, Josh Jacobs is an animal. Don't get me wrong, but Derrick Henry is a different animal.
yeah, uh,
Josh Jacobs is probably a top 5 back. Probably he might
yeah,
be
yeah.
either top
I,
5 or top 7, one of the two.
top seven definitely. I mean, I could see how people could contest top five, but Derrick Henry on the other hand, he's no doubt a top three running back.
I know number one, like I know you would go like Henry, Aaron Jones, Dalvin Cook, Lamar. No, I'm just kidding.
I
All
think
right.
Dalvin's the best back in the league right now. I'm biased because he's been eating on my fantasy team, and you guys know that. But
I think Aaron Jones is the best.
really,
Hmm
huh?
He just can't stay healthy right now.
Dalvin Cook,
He's a touchdown monger.
Dalvin has 84 points scored this season, and he's number one in the league in that category. And all the other like top 20 players are kickers, so he's in a league of his own, man.
Great.
Dalvin's a monster. Let Dalvin cook. Let
Okay,
Dalvin
John.
cook.
We're gonna move on, John. What do you think the third one is after that cringy joke? Who's your third one of the week?
Uh, I'm gonna have to say Saints over Niners.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these games this week, like I'd say Bears over the Vikings, but again, I can see Dalvin just running over that front seven.
It'd be a hard week.
It, it,
I
it
don't know on that front seven.
it'll yeah, but that defense is on the field so much, man. And
That's
Nick
true.
Foles
I mean,
just
Nick Foles played good last week, but
yeah, he played good last week, but compare that last week to the rest of the season, he's not doing well enough for them to win. They're only a 5-4 team,
they
which is
might put Mitch
bad,
back
but
in.
you never know. They
Mitch
could.
is 3-0 on the season.
Yeah, but I mean, you could argue that Foles produces more offensively in the
Yeah.
passing game, especially. But I mean, like you said, Mitch has been winning for them, and it's just a tough decision for Matt Nagy, honestly. But again, I'd say the Saints over the Niners. There's not much to talk about in that game.
Mm.
I mean, I don't even know if Jimmy G is starting this week. I don't think he is. I think they benched Jimmy G for Mullins, and the Saints. They're such a balanced team. They proved the other or last week against the Bucks that they're an NFC favorite, one of the favorites at least in the NFC. And I think that they'll have a really good game against the Niners.
I think Drew Brees needs to get Jared Cook maybe 1 to 2 to 3 touchdowns to help me this week against Brady, who's one of the better teams on the other side of our division
Right.
conference. A big win for me. But yeah, I agree 100%. That should be an easy win. Kittle's gone. I don't know if Jimmy G's playing. Bosa's gone. All these guys that are just like they're big name players are just not there that they had last year.
Is
And the
Sherman?
Saints are coming off a big win. I'm not sure if Sherman's playing, but even if he does play, I don't think he's that much of a game changer. I mean, he's not gonna. I mean, he's not gonna cover zone boy or whatever, because or slant man, because he's a little. Because I was gonna say, because all he does is all Sherman can do now is basically sit back in zone.
Yeah, I
He's
feel
too.
like Sherman, he's gonna fall off after. Well, I mean, he got hurt this year. He's not gonna be the same cornerback. I
He's
think
kind of
he's gonna retire in the
he's
next few years.
slower now, and
Yeah,
his man is not as great. But John, I think I agree with that one. But John, tell me if you agree with this one. This is not my hot take, but this is one of the hotter ones.
big.
Cardinals over Bills, 34-30.
34-30.
D-Hop gonna go off 130 yards, a touchdown. Kyler Murray's gonna have 100 on the ground probably.
Yeah, I can see that.
Defense for the Bills isn't great, and the Cardinals are pretty good, but they're not great either.
I agree. I think that game's going to be a shootout because both teams' defenses are pretty lackluster and they're not really producing like they should be.
Cardinals are better for sure, but
Cardinals have a better defense. I think the Bills have a better defense on paper, but like I've been preaching this year, they're overwhelming, and I'm not even sure what adjustments they need to take. But I agree that this game is going to be a shootout. I think Kyler Murray will have a week like he did last week. Honestly,
that's what I'm
like
saying.
100 on the ground, over 150 in the air. He's making I mean, he's making
50.
a case for an MVP. Honestly, I don't
He
think he'll
is.
win it, but he's up there.
I think they lost too many games.
Yeah,
But if he was like undefeated right now, it'd be different. But
you got to get D Hop the ball. They
yeah, he
got
only had 3 catches last week. He's got to
yeah,
have at least 7, 8, 9, 10 catches,
right.
in my
And
opinion.
I think that's why they lost to the Dolphins. Honestly,
Yeah, they didn't get D Hop involved.
yeah.
All right, John.
But I
Do you have a upset of the week for me?
I'm gonna say my upset of the week is Panthers over Bucks.
Really? All right. I
Yeah.
like that. Mike Davis is back on my team starting because McCaffrey's out. I love to hear it.
See, it's this is hard because McCaffrey is out, and I mean he's on a week to week injury, and that just sucks to see because that dude's a stud, and I mean when he's healthy, I think he's the best running back in the league. That's just
Yeah.
me, but I mean the Bucks, I wouldn't say they're a pretender, but they showed how inconsistent they can be. Like they almost lost to the Giants 2 weeks ago, and then they got blown out by the Saints.
Hmm.
And I don't know if I have as much faith in Brady and Arians as I did before. You've seen Brady's tantrums on the sideline. I feel like locker room chemistry is just kind of deteriorating, and I'm not pointing fingers at Antonio Brown like some people
It's
would
Antonio
jump
Brown's fault
on.
for sure.
I
Hope
mean,
they
maybe,
cut him.
but I don't know. I'm not in the Bucks locker room. It just doesn't look like they're really, they're not hitting on all cylinders like they were earlier in the season. You can tell that Mike Evans is visibly frustrated.
Yeah,
Chris
like we said
Godwin is
the
never
other day
healthy,
too. Mike Evans is probably gonna want out maybe at the end of the year.
and they can't even get it going on the ground. Like Ronald Jones was a factor at the beginning of the year. In October, he was a stud, and he's just not. I mean, they're not even feeding it to him now. So I have the Panthers, and Teddy Bridgewater isn't playing bad football,
Hmm. They
but
they they gave the Chiefs last week a run for their money.
I mean, they almost won that game, honestly. But Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs were able to hold off the Panthers for a dub. So that's my upset of the week.
John, I agree with you 100%. I could see that being an upset. I don't think it's gonna happen to be honest, but I think it could. I think that's one of the more likely ones of the week
Never know.
because that's what I was debating that one a lot too with myself. But I was like, I think Brady and the Bucks are gonna have a big comeback win. I think it's gonna be a higher scoring game. Not
I
like
think it'll be.
not in the 30s, but probably like 28, 24, something like that.
I think it'll be kind of a shootout. But again, I think the Panthers will edge out the Bucks for. I'd say they win 28-21.
All right, all right, John. I have one of the hottest takes
Oh, get ready, everybody.
for upset of the week.
I gotta get ready. Okay, shoot.
My boy, Bill Belichick is gonna have them ready to play. Them New England Patriots over the Ravens
Okay.
of a score of like 24-17. They're gonna figure out Lamar again. He's gonna run all over him, but he's not gonna be able to pass all over him. And that's why the Patriots and Cam Newton are gonna have a good bounce back week.
I honestly don't think that's much of a hot take because I can see
I
that. I can see that. I'm not
think a
gonna
lot of
lie.
people would be call me dumb maybe for saying that
A
because of
lot
how
of
bad
Patriots
Cam's
fans
playing.
would be down, or Ravens fans would be down on you for saying that. But
Yep,
I think Damian Harris will eat on the ground.
that's what I'm talking about.
He's not that bad. He's not that bad. And I think Cam will be, you
Cam's
know,
gonna eat on the ground. I think he's gonna have 50.
yeah. I think he'll even have a decent game passing. But who knows? That Ravens defense is arguably one of the best in the NFL right now. So
Mhm.
we'll see. We'll see Sunday time.
I mean, I just think that they have the ability to beat the Ravens, and they have in the past.
Yeah, yeah.
So, well, actually, Joe Flacco used to maybe do some things to him in the playoffs, but
Don't underestimate Bill Belichick, man.
that's what I'm saying. I never will. John, do you have someone who you think is gonna do an outstanding performance this week for guaranteed stardom?
I think honestly, I think Terry McLaurin. I think if you have him in fantasy, you have to
Mhm.
start him. They're facing the Lions. The Lions are atrocious on defense.
Mhm.
Jeff Okuda is going to be. I'm pretty sure he's going to be matching up against Terry this week. They're both
Probably.
Ohio State teammates.
Mhm.
There'll be some friendly competition, but it'll be really competitive, I think. But I think Terry's going to edge out the rookie. I think he's going to edge out the entire Detroit's defense. And honestly, I think Terry is the best wide receiver in the NFC East. Um, and Matt Patricia, I don't.
No,
It's
no
hard to
way.
game plan for this guy because I think he's honestly the most underrated receiver in the league, and he's going to be such a stud in the future. But I mean, granted, he is right now. But
Can we just take a moment and realize he's only saying this stuff because he's on his fantasy team?
no, no, I'm not. I'm not
Just
trying to be biased. I'm not trying to be biased. I love Terry, and he produces for me week in and week out.
yeah. So yeah, the real
Uh,
story comes out.
but I think Washington can edge out the Lions this game.
Yeah,
Because Washington isn't that bad of a team, honestly. I mean, no, I take that back. They're a bad team, but their defense isn't
they're one of
bad.
the better bad teams.
Yeah, yeah. It just sucks that Kyle Allen, sorry, not Josh Allen. Kyle Allen got hurt.
Yo, speaking of that, did you see Josh Norman just tested positive for COVID today? Like,
Josh Norman?
on the Bills,
Really?
just tested positive today. So I don't know how that's gonna affect their whole game plan and scheme and stuff. I just had to throw that out there.
Josh Norman isn't a force on the field like he was for a
Yeah, but
year.
I don't know if he gave COVID to like Josh Allen or something.
Right. That
uh,
sucks though.
yeah. All right,
Yeah.
John. I agree with you, Terry McLaurin. I was gonna say him, but no, I had someone else at the bottom that I think is
Let me hear
better.
it. Let me hear it, my guy.
I know you're gonna hate to hear it. It honestly sucks. Let's start Carson Wentz. He is playing the Giants this week. The Giants have been pretty good, but I think Travis Fulgham's gonna have a big week, and Miles Sanders is gonna have another great week. I think he's back this week. He's back, right?
Yeah.
He's back this week. They're gonna have a good week on the ground. He's gonna be able to play action. Dallas Goedert, one of his better receivers, is gonna be back, or tight ends, but
Alshon Jeffrey's back too.
Alshon's back.
Mm-hmm.
So this should be a good week for to see what he can do. No bias. He's on my fantasy team as well. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think he's gonna have a really good week this week.
Well, I mean, I can see it honestly, and I mean, if he's giving the ball to Boston Scott in the receiving game in the backfield, Boston Scott always plays well against the Giants. I don't know, like just playing him is a bad omen for the Giants. So, yeah, I can see that happening. But again, we'll see on Sunday, man.
John, you got a second guy for me that you think is gonna really stand out this week?
Second guy, um, I'd say I don't know. I'm gonna say Jared Goff just because he's playing the Seahawks defense,
Hmm.
and there's not much else to say about that. Uh, I mean, they're playing the Seahawks defense.
Yeah.
I mean, you see how bad they are. You saw how many points they gave up to the Bills last week. It was 44 or something. If
Well,
I'm
I also think Russ turned the ball over too much, but
Yeah, Russ turned the ball over, but I mean, Jared Goff. You look at the weapons at his disposal. He's got Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee, Gerald Everett. He
the
has
run
Daryl
game.
Henderson in the backfield. So, Cam Brown. So I think you should start Jared Goff. I think he'll
Cam
throw
Brown, or
or Malcolm Brown. Sorry,
yeah, I was gonna,
but I think he'll throw for over 300 yards, maybe at the most 350, and I think he'll
Mhm.
have a touchdown or two, honestly.
Yep. All right, John. My second stardom of the week is also Jared Goff. I
Yeah.
said this guy's just got you just got to start him. I'm not gonna go into depth. Just you just said it. The Seahawks are terrible. So John, that was a good little thing right there. Definitely start Jared Goff this week. But John, do you have a third guy that you think is really gonna stand out this week?
Uh, I say every week, say week in and week out because I love this guy. Start Devontae Adams against the Jaguars.
Yeah, start Devonta. Don't don't sit him. If
Don't.
you ever sit him, it would be a mistake. But yes, go ahead. Start Devontae Adams.
I mean, him and Aaron Rodgers are like shake and bake. They're like salt and pepper. They're
Juice.
they're the most dynamic. They're the most effective, the most formidable tandem, the wide receiver quarterback tandem in the league. Devontae Adams, he just eats week in and week out. Aaron Rodgers is a beast, and Devontae Adams, granted, he's a good receiver, but he would not be the guy he is. He would not be the athlete he is without Aaron Rodgers. So you got to start this dude. I think he's going to go for anywhere from 100 and 150 receiving yards this week. And I think he's going to get in the end zone, like I said earlier, at least 2 or 3 times. Or at the most, I should say.
At
I don't
least
want
two
to
or
stretch
three.
it too
At least three times.
much.
All right, yeah, John, I 100% agree. Start Devontae Adams. My third one. This was a pretty. I thought about this for a while, and I was like, yes, gotta start him. Chase Edmonds coming off a pretty decent week. I think Kenny Drake's out again, or if
Mm.
he's playing, he's definitely gonna be definitely splitting reps. So I think Chase Edmonds is going to be a great play this week. He's going to have probably a touchdown. He's always been one of those more explosive guys on the field. So I just think that he's a must start this week.
The only problem I have with that is I think that they'll turn to Kyler more on the ground. I think he'll have a good week, but I think, oh, that's tough. The other problem I have with Chase Edmonds is he's kind of inconsistent sometimes.
I mean, he's the backup, so I mean, he's
Yeah.
never been like in the starting role. I mean, you see it last year when he got to be the starter at the end of the season before they got Kenyon Drake. He was balling,
Hmm.
or when Kenyon Drake was out or whatever. I don't remember exactly what happened, but he was balling. So I think that he could do that again this week, like he did last week, and just get a touchdown on the ground. But I don't know. All right, John. Do you have any guys that you definitely don't want to start this week for our situms?
Kirk Cousins, don't start Kirk Cousins. They're
Oh,
gonna rely on Dalvin in the run game like they have been all year. And Kirk Cousins, he's just a turnover machine sometimes. He's
yep.
super inconsistent. I mean, and yeah, the Bears secondary is arguably probably, I don't know. That secondary is just so good. I wouldn't say it's
Pretty
the
good.
best, but
They're up
it's
there.
it's
Probably
up
top
there.
five, top
Yeah,
10 easily.
yeah. So I think Kirk Cousins is gonna throw 2 or 3 picks this week.
Ooh, yeah. I agree. I think don't start Kirk Cousins. He's not who I picked. I picked Melvin Gordon actually.
Really?
You never know who's gonna get them a bulk of the carries. Lindsey or Gordon,
Hmm.
and the Raiders have need this win, and they always had a good solid front this season. So I would say start do not start anyone with either Philip Lindsay or Melvin Gordon.
Oh, you don't think either of them you should
No,
start?
I don't think you should start either of them
Okay. So
because I think it's gonna be like split. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
So it's not one's not gonna get 15 points. One's gonna get 8. One's gonna get 8. You know what I mean?
You think the Broncos will turn to Drew Lock more of that game?
I think they will, but I think he'll turn the ball over, and that's what's gonna make the Raiders win the game.
Okay.
Like he has in the past weeks. Like he hasn't been able to get anything going in the first like half and
Yeah, he's better.
half
He's a better
quarter.
quarterback in the second half, no
Mhm.
doubt. I agree with you there.
All right, John, give me a second guy that you don't think you should start this week.
Oh, another guy that you shouldn't start. Hmm. Is hmm. This is tough. Honestly, I'm gonna say don't start Baker Mayfield. I'm gonna say that.
Ooh, I agree with that.
Baker, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm being biased. I'm gonna try not to be biased, but I just don't like the guy. Baker, I mean, Chubb is back, and the Texans have a terrible defense besides JJ Watt.
And
They're
he's honestly not even playing the best either.
yeah, and he's getting up there in age, and
He's not
they're
playing terrible actually, but he's just not 20 sacks a season anymore.
but they're gonna run all over the Texans with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and I just I don't know. I don't have faith in Baker anymore. Uh,
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Browns moving on from him in the future, honestly.
Not this season for sure, but
Not
not
this,
even next season.
yeah, in the
That
future.
50 year maybe. All right, John, this is one of my hotter takes of the day as well. I wanted to get a few hot takes in today.
All
And it's
right,
sit Tyler Lockett.
really?
I think DK Metcalf is going to have a bigger week. I think they're going to focus a little bit. I think they're going to try to establish the run this week without Chris Carson in. I feel like they're going to try to slow the game down. Maybe get Russ out of the pocket a little bit, throwing on the run. Get DK Metcalf more involved than he did last week. He only had a few catches last week, even though he had such good stats. I just think that Tyler Lockett, he might get a touchdown. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's going to put up one of those 7-8 catch games this week for 100 yards. I don't see it.
Hmm.
They're probably gonna have Jalen Ramsey blanking him sometimes too.
As much as I hate to say it, I think I agree with you. Because, well, I can't remember what week it was, but that week where he had 50 fantasy points in PPF leagues, or PPR leagues, sorry,
I was like, what?
but I was thinking of Pro Football
Yeah,
Focus.
I know.
Yeah, I as much as I hate to say it, because I love Tyler Lockett and DK.
I do too.
I mean, I think they're the best receiver duo in the league, but uh,
Packers could have had one of the best receiver duos in the league if they would have traded up to get a wide receiver instead of a quarterback. They're literally Aaron Rodgers.
but
He's Brett Favre and he's Aaron Rodgers now.
I agree with you on Lockett. As much as I hate to say it, I
Yeah,
I think that they'll really put emphasis on in the secondary on covering Lockett, even though DK is as dangerous on the other side. But he's just not producing like he was earlier in the season. So I agree with you. As much as I just don't like to say it, I agree.
John, you have a second guy for me here.
Second guy not to sit.
Uh, third, third guy to sit. Last guy.
Hmm. Hmm. I'm gonna say Mark Ingram.
Yes, I agree 100%.
Gonna turn to J.K. Dobbins. Like I said earlier, that Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins could run all over the Patriots defense, but when I say that, I really mean Lamar and J.K. Dobbins, because Lamar is their running back. Let's not lie to ourselves here. But yeah, J.K. Dobbins and Lamar are just gonna run all over them, and Mark Ingram. He's getting up there in age, not the same running back he used to be. And if you took him in earlier round this year, you made a huge mistake.
Yeah, like Addison, who drafted him first in the first round for some reason. But no, I'm just kidding. I can't blame him. It was like 2 in the morning when we drafted. But yeah, I agree with you. Sit Mark Ingram. But I don't want to get too much into that though because I feel like it's such a endless cycle for the Ravens running backs because Gus Edwards has had a big week. Lamar has a big week. J.K. has a big week. Mark Ingram hasn't really had that big week yet. So this could be his week, but I just feel like it's not gonna be.
I don't think it's going to be against the Patriots.
That's what I agree.
Yeah.
So, John, I'm pretty sure you're gonna agree with me 100,000%. Sit Hollywood Brown. He has done nothing this year to prove that you should start him, especially against Hollywood is definitely gonna get blanketed this week by probably someone like Gilmore and JC Jackson's gonna be over the top helping him out too. Or not even over the top really, but just like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They're gonna sit back in zone and make Lamar throw all over him this week.
He's been disappointing this year, no doubt.
I
No doubt.
think I think that this year they're gonna send a zone blitz. They're gonna run a zone blitz all game long against Lamar this week. That's what I would do.
Hmm. You think not to get off topic here, but you think they're going to ship Gilmore out? You think Belichick's going to
No, well,
No?
not n- maybe,
You don't
maybe
think he's going to try to build up that draft capital because
they
he's
might. That's why they might. They
worth
might.
the first round and a second round to put together, honestly.
I don't think he's worth that much anymore. This season he's not had the best season. I think he's worth a second. I don't think you're gonna first for Gilmore anymore.
You
Last
don't.
year you would easily get a first for him, but this year I think he's digressed a little bit. I think he'll get a second for him now, though.
Last year was his prime year, no doubt. That's why he got Defensive Player of the Year. But you're right. He is getting up there in age. I think if he's not 30, then he's 29. I can't remember off the top of my head, but his star years are behind him, no doubt. So I take back what I said. Probably a second at the. I don't know.
Oh, I think a desperate contender would give them a second.
I feel like a team like a team that desperately needs a corner will reach for him. Like honestly,
I think a team like, not to cut you up, but a team like the Saints could try to make an offer if they were trying to get someone,
right.
or
Yeah,
even Green Bay to pair him with Jair Alexander.
that'd probably be the scariest two cornerbacks in the league on the same team. That'd
Or
be
someone like Pittsburgh, who I would really enjoy for them to go get Gilmore, even if he's aging. We took aging Joe Hayden, made him look pretty good.
that's true. That's true. And he's a leader on that defensive team, on that defensive squad too.
Eh,
I
he
like
is. I think he is, but I think TJ Minka.
yeah, I think TJ's taken over that role, but when he first got there, like he was a seasoned vet. He
I agree with you. I think honestly though, the veteran leadership might be coming from Cam Hayward. I think is really who's coming, bringing the veteran leadership for sure. And Joe Hayden's not far behind. He's a seasoned vet in this game. He's done very well.
yeah,
He's had
I
a
like
very good career.
I like Cam Hayward a lot too.
hmm
Dude's still eating. I mean, he's like he's like a poor man's Aaron Donald.
Yeah, I agree.
But
Well, I mean, not even a poor man's.
yeah, not
Cam is
eating.
probably even like a top 10
He's a top 10
here,
defensive,
and
no doubt. Hey, you could even argue that he's a top 10 D lineman in general.
he is a top 10 D lineman. Let's be honest. Come on. Him and Tua have been eating this year. I saw a thing. I'm pretty sure they're definitely the best 1-2 punch in the league at D tackle.
Think?
Cam Hayward and Stephon Tuitt.
Oh, dude, Tuitt's gonna make a Pro Bowl.
The
He's
whole D line's gonna make the Pro Bowl.
might man.
The Pro Bowl is just gonna be the Steelers D line.
I can see that. Tua is having a career year. I forgot. I don't know how I forgot about him. Dude, that Steelers front seven, like what March said the other week, probably gonna be regarded as one of the best defensive lines of all time. Honestly,
John, I saw a stat the other day. I don't know if they're still on pace, but they were on pace to smash the 85 Bears sack record.
they aren't anymore,
I
or
am not exactly sure what they are. I think it was like they're on pace for like 85 or something, or 78 or something.
wow.
I think the 85 Bears only had 72 sacks.
This team is kind of reminiscent of. I mean, I don't know if you. I mean, the landscape of the game has changed so much, so it's hard to argue if you could really say that they're better than like this defense is better than the 85 Bears,
I don't
but
think so.
definitely,
I don't think they're better than the 85 Bears. I think they could be in the conversation one of the top defenses of all time
yeah,
if
yeah.
they were fully healthy and ready to go. But I just don't think they're in the conversation with the 85 Bears. At least not yet.
The only problem I have with that, like them being one of the best defenses of all time, is that like defenses are giving up historically like bad numbers this year. That like really bad. And I don't know. I
I
don't
think it
know
was
if it,
because of no training camps, no
right, right.
it really hurt them because they couldn't play as a team. But the Steelers really didn't bring anyone in that was new. They
No,
were just ready to go.
stuck to their guns, and I kind of respect Mike Tomlin and the defensive or in the coaching staff in Pittsburgh for doing that.
Yeah,
So
because Minka's playing at another Pro Bowl type level, and T.J. Watt's playing at a Pro Bowl level. Bud Dupree's playing at a Pro Bowl level. Cam Hayward is. Stephon Tuitt is. Joe Hayden is having an underratedly good season as well. He might not be getting the picks that he had like last year, but he's having a good season as well.
Steve Nelson isn't bad either.
He's getting a lot of sacks, and he's had a few picks as well.
Hmm.
I like how the Steelers always blitz. They bring in like Mike Hilton and Steven Nelson at blitz in the slot.
That's what the Giants do with Logan Ryan sometimes. At first, I was kind of on the fence about the Logan Ryan signing, but he's been playing well this year, so I'm glad. He's not going to be part of the Giants' future though. He's getting up there in age.
I honestly think that last year might have been one of Joe Hayden's best seasons for sure.
You think?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had three less pass deflections, but he had like one or two more picks than one of his best seasons. So I think last year, I mean, last year our defense was just clamps. The defense kept us in every game last year with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph at the helm. But
How
this
old?
year,
Joe Hayden is.
he'll be like 31 probably, right?
I think he is 31. Yeah. I thought he was older than that.
I'm
Wow.
gonna, I'm gonna look up how old he is.
You know,
He's
if
31. Wow.
if
Older.
Big Ben has the
Big Ben's
Rona.
cleared to play.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
I was gonna say start Josh Dobbs.
No, we're not starting the thumb. We're starting Mason Rudolph.
uh,
Mason Rudolph is our best backup. Dude, I just wish the Eagles didn't draft Jalen Hurts because the Steelers were projected to get him in the third round, and he would have been a great backup for Big Ben because they play similar. Huh?
they're projected to get Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, in the third round, they were. I saw a thing like on draft day. They were thinking about getting him in the third round.
I remember earlier this year I was talking to you about how I didn't think Justin Fields was gonna go where he's projected to go now. He's a top 5 pick, but I was telling Hoser how I thought they like if the Steelers, if somehow Justin Fields falls to the Steelers, like you got to take him and just groom him behind Big Ben for another 1, 2, 3 years.
Definitely not three. Big Ben does not have three left.
But
Maybe one.
you never know. Big Ben, he's
He's
kind of.
flirted with retirement already, and
You think?
yeah, I think this might be his last good season.
He's not having a bad season though. I think he just needs to cut down the turnovers a little bit, but honestly
Not
it's not.
even turning the ball over.
Some games he has
Titans, the Titans was his most turnover game, and that was just he took chances that game, and one of them wasn't even his fault. One got tipped at the D line, and a D lineman got the pick. So I think he only has 4 picks on the season.
Oh, does he?
hmm
Okay, never mind. I'm
That's
sorry.
better for what Big Ben usually throws. Big Ben usually throws like around 16 to 12 to 16 area.
Okay, Ben. All right.
He's 18-4 this year. So his last healthy season, which was 2018, is when they barely missed the playoffs when Juju fumbled
Mhm.
against the Saints. That he went 34 to 16
Really?
with a 67 completion percentage. So that was one of his best seasons.
Hmm.
2014, I think, is looking now as his best season. He went 32 to 9. 2014, back in the Mike Wallace era.
Mike Wallace. All right, Holzer.
I think that was a great podcast, John. We've talked about everything. Talked about who to start, who to sit, who are locks, our upsets, and we even got a little Steelers debate in there at the end. So, John, do you have anything else to say before we end this here for tonight?
All I gotta say is expect another guest next Wednesday, guys. Not definitively sure who we're gonna have yet, but we got a couple candidates, got a couple guys willing to come on the cast to, really get into some hot topics, some hot debates about football around the league. And when December rolls around, when the NBA starts back up,
John, I was about to say I'm excited. You want to do NBA draft
yeah,
predictions?
if you guys want us to cover the draft, hell yeah, we'll definitely do that. No questions asked.
This draft is in 4 days.
Yeah, it's on Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday.
hmm
So it's gonna be interesting nonetheless. But
I think that I can't wait for basketball to start. 'Cause I love basketball. I know John's a decent fan of basketball, and I know we both like baseball. I don't think we're gonna cover baseball as much. We will do a few topics on baseball though, for sure.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna do anything big until I know the playoffs. We'll cover baseball in the playoffs for sure. But I'm trying to think of other sports. We don't really follow soccer. Sorry for anyone who does who likes soccer. I'm not a big soccer guy. I know John's not the biggest soccer fan.
I know the Masters are going on right now, but I
I
don't.
know I do like some golf. Golf is fun. We could do it. I wouldn't mind having a nice little college football debate.
Yeah, I'd talk about.
But we could do boxing too. We could watch some boxing matches. I don't know if John watched a lot of boxing, but I've seen a few boxing matches.
Yeah.
But if you did enjoy that video, you know what to do. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the post notifications. I had a good podcast with my boy John, and as always, we don't really have an outro.